Anybody that puts this type of attention and detail into annual plantings between the elephant ears, the coleus, you've got some impatiens on the other side, and it's loaded in all of this just for the front door. I remember coming on this consultation almost a year and a half ago thinking, yes, this person definitely wants a pond, because anybody that's this much into gardening is really, really in need of a water feature. And again, not one, but two.
And not just wants a pond, but actually had a pond.
Had a pond. She built herself.
No way.
Yeah, her and her father built the original pond herself, and it was really actually pretty nice. What I think was most ambitious is the pond was 4 feet deep. And a lot of times we'll go on consultations and they'll say how deep the pond actually is, and they say 4 feet deep. You're like, yeah, whatever, it's probably 2 feet. But this is a true 4 feet deep. And the amount of effort that went into stacking boulders this size, 4 feet up, is actually pretty challenging to do. I don't even know if I know how to do that, but they figured it out.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Hey.
Yeah. Admiring the landscape in the front, which actually says a lot about the customer. We're out here in Shorewood, Illinois, about to build 2 projects that look like one. I know it sounds confusing, but it is. It's gonna be 2 projects that look like one. We're out here in Shorewood, Illinois, and you can tell that the lady has a green thumb, right?
Show me, because I don't think they can tell. It's pretty shady over here, Brian. I just,
you know, you got a river birch, which is a river birch, you know, and it's a big, giant, mature river birch. There's a crab apple over there. But anybody that puts this type of attention and detail into annual plantings between the elephant ears, the coleus, you've got some impatiens on the other side, and it's loaded in all of this just for the front door. I remember coming on this consultation almost a year and a half ago thinking, yes, this person definitely wants a pond, because anybody that's this much into gardening is really, really in need of a water feature. And again, not one, but 2.
And not just wants a pond, but actually had a pond.
Had a pond. She built herself.
No way.
Yeah, her and her father built the original pond herself, and it was really actually pretty nice. What I think was most ambitious is the pond was 4 feet deep. And a lot of times we'll go on consultations and they'll say how deep the pond actually is, and they say 4 feet deep. You're like, yeah, whatever, it's probably 2 feet. But this is a true 4 feet deep. And the amount of effort that went into stacking boulders this size, 4 feet up, is actually pretty challenging to do. I don't even know if I know how to do that, but they figured it out. As you come into the backyard, it also screams green thumb, right? She's got the cool chicken coop over here.
That's cool.
Some big mature red buds kind of overhanging things. Again, a lot of annuals, a cool little hosta garden over here. It keeps inspiring me to think, gosh, she really wants to do something unique in her backyard. They even went as far as designing the pond in the right spot.
Yep.
The pond is up close to the patio, up close to the house, visible from inside the house, but not to its fullest potential. She saw us on YouTube, she's been to our showroom, and she knew she could take the pond to her fullest potential. Mindy is also I would call her a workaholic. She's been doing the same profession for 30 years, spends an enormous amount of time at work, and this is her sanctuary. This is where she comes to just kind of unwind. She doesn't find any of the plantings or weeding or anything as work. It's just a stress reliever. And I think that sound of water and what we're about to do is gonna help her relieve that much more stress.
Sounds very familiar.
So let's show them the existing pond.
Let's do that.
There's Jack. Jack makes it look like it's about a 7 foot deep pond.
Well, Jack's only 5 feet tall, so.
Good attempt with the waterfall, right? Not knowing how to do things, but look at how they cut that boulder to actually fit in there, or that big piece of slate to fit in there. There was a pretty simple sheet of water coming over. The one thing we want to do with that waterfall is move it slightly to the right over there. By moving it slightly to the right, then from her spot at the kitchen table, she'll be able to not just hear the waterfall, but see it that much better. We're also gonna push it back off the edge a little bit. Hey Chris, look at that frog staring at Jack. There he is. By pushing it back off the edge of the pond, it gives you or Jack or somebody more real estate. Probably not myself on this one, but one of you guys more real estate to do something interesting with the waterfall. And the sheet of waterfall is nice, but when you've got the real estate to do more with it, why not take advantage of it? So we're gonna push that back, probably get 2 drops out of it, maybe even 3 drops out of it. The other thing we wanna do, and this was really important for her, especially after we shared the idea, but she's got this patio that comes right up to it. We wanna take one of our bigger outcropping pieces and actually carve it into the patio here. By cutting the brick to fit around one of our existing stones, makes the pond look like it's been here forever. She bought the house because of this existing water feature, and then everything else was adapted to it. The placement of the windows, the placement of the basement window, which is gonna be a pretty cool site with that waterfall facing to it. And then we're gonna put her like a little butt rock, or a seat, we call it a butt rock, but a seat rock, sitting right here so she can sit on this rock, put her feet on this destination boulder carved into the patio, and feed her fish. Now here's where one pond becomes 2. To keep this as not such a top heavy system, and so she can shut one off and operate the other one all winter, she really wants to operate this all winter long. She's always left this thing running all winter long. She wants to make sure that that continues to happen. We're gonna keep this as a closed system, but right off the back edge of the pond, which will come into about here, we're gonna put a spillway right here. So pond's gonna stop here, spillway is gonna start about here. With strategic planting, strategic rock placement, some gravel and everything, it'll look like this pond overflows into this area, which is really the start of a 50-foot stream. This stream is then gonna meander, come down along this existing tree line, right up underneath these arborvitaes, underneath this flourishing peach tree. Like, oh my God. It's fuzzy.
Well, that's...
Oh, hell yeah. That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Love that idea, coming underneath
Coming
the...
up underneath this, right in here. We might do some stepping stones that allow her to get back into harvesting. There's an apple tree back there and everything else, and she needs to get back there. And I don't want her having to leap over a stream. So some stepping stones just to get back in there and maintain some of her fruit trees. This will continue back in through here. We're gonna put our reservoir underneath this hammer maple. Reservoir right in here. A pathway will come around underneath this. We might have to limb some stuff up. And then let me show you this place. Look at this little hidden area back
So
in
cool.
here. Like, how awesome is this back in here?
This is cool.
And so from sitting in that green chair, which she actually spends quite a bit of time in, she'll be eating peaches this time of year while looking upstream, which is the killer view. And I think there's just enough grade change between underneath the overhanging part of the peach tree to where our reservoir is going to be to give her a nice quiet babbling brook. So this is going to be what I would call way more of a bird loving stream. We're going to use a stone we don't commonly use, Pennsylvania fieldstone, which has got more of a flat top with like tapered edges, more outcropping type look, but perfect for streams that have very little grade change to them.
But allowing us to really do that left to right, right to left action.
Twisting all over the place. She was sold on the idea of 2 separate systems. One she could turn off and on whenever she wanted, one leaving winter running, and then what totally got her was the idea of very little landscape. She doesn't want more work. And so if we hug the stream up to the existing landscape and then leave more of a grass edge on this side, there won't be much plantings. And then the third thing that really got her was the bird loving stream part. So a lot of gentle wading areas, shallow areas where the birds can come in and interact. Think we can do it?
I think we can do it.
Think we can do it in 5 days?
I would hope so.
50-foot stream on rehab. I think what I'd really like you to do is, Jack's been getting a lot of positive feedback from our Team Aquascape fans. I think we should let Jack and Corey kind of run with the pond rehab.
Can do that.
Let them build that and at least, you know, work on the waterfall. And then we'll come down in here and work on this.
Sounds like she just got home.
Stop eating all of her peaches.
All right.
Busted.
Well, these guys, we've already, like you saw earlier, we've got the pond drained, the fish are out, and the guys are demoing the pond. Great, working as a team, getting this daisy chain of cobbles out of there. We're gonna use, we've got about half of them stored there that we'll reuse in the pond, and then the other half we'll stage over here and be able to use those in the stream and waterfalls area. So we're gonna keep going, get the rest of this stuff out, get all of those components out, and probably shape it a little bit, get our biofall set, our skimmer set, fabric liner, all that good stuff. And then we will also start digging that reservoir once we get all this sod out. So let's keep going. So we've got all the grass stripped out of here. Dan's finishing cleaning up the rest of it back over there. We like to do this so it gives us that blank slate and just keeps it from being a mess, as well as doing all of our excavation. Those little clumps of grass that you see down in there don't get buried and end up popping back up in the berm. It's a big pet peeve of ours, so we're gonna go back through and kind of clean this stuff up where it's kind of scalped in a couple of these areas down in here. We'll get rid of that, and then we're gonna go ahead and lay out our 16 small aqua blocks, get our reservoir placed. The guys are doing a fantastic job back in here demoing the old pond. Bring the camera up here and show you some of the shelf work that happened. So they're just getting the rest of this liner out, gravel, all that good stuff. What do they use down there, Jack? Styrofoam?
Carpet.
Carpet. What's that stuff then? That looks like styrofoam to me.
Carpet.
It's carpet, huh? Dang. Well, it's just a big bullseye, which is very typical for the style of ponds that Jack builds. So, actually, Jack, Corey, how do you guys feel about taking over this portion while we work on that?
Sounds good to me. We got this taken care of.
Looks like it.
It's got the skimmer left to pull out. Getting your shoes nice and filthy.
We're a little underwater right now.
What do you mean a little underwater? Doesn't look like there's any water left in there.
All inside of it is.
He's got a little boo-boo.
Ooh, you're gonna get a staph infection, Jack. We'll have to get you back on the penicillin. That was the stuff you took when you came back from Cancun, remember? Dripping all over the patio.